Hello, everyone, to this week's live force event. Hey, guys, how's everyone doing? Diego?
Hey, Mike, I love this. This is the best. This is the best part of the show. I really
Exactly.
like the intro.
And Swenley over on the other side of the planet.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. And then the furthest away is Mrityunjay. How are you doing over there in India?
Yeah, across the seas, I'm good.
Good. Good. So welcome, everyone, like I said, to this Friday's session. Today's a critique day. So we've had many of you submit work, and we're going to take a look at that today. Some of you submitted work based off of prior sessions over the last 3 weeks, so that's really exciting. We'll try to dig into the work that you did there. Today, we're going to start with, I think we chose Swenley, right? You're going to ramp us up today?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so before we go over to Swenley, really quick, a couple of things I want to talk about. Please subscribe if you're enjoying the content that we're presenting every Friday here at Force with myself, Mike Matese. Today we're going to be announcing the winner, right? So we've been working at trying to get those likes up to 150. We crossed that number last Friday. So we have a winner, and we're going to announce the winner at the end of today's video. And there will be a new giveaway, right? So if we break 150 today, we have another giveaway for you guys, right? So we want to try to break the 150 likes, okay? So with that, I'm not going to talk too much here. We're going to try to just get into it. So each one of the Force instructors has plenty of time to take a look at your work. So with that, I'm going to stop my share here and hand it over to Swenley.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's see if I can see my screen.
And
Not yet.
there it is.
There you go.
Here it's on.
Okay. Let's see. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you to everyone who submitted work for us to look at and give you some feedback. This is from Sahil. Let's see. So Sahil is drawing some figures, and overall there are some good things going on. I would say the primary thing is to focus more on the forces and how they create rhythm, because it seems like Sahil, you're focusing a lot on shape and contour, and that is kind of like ruining all the attempt at fluidity and movement that's you're aiming for in the drawing. Like this arm, for example, it feels like it's just popping out of nowhere, so you want to come in and connect the body, observe how forces flow into the body and how it creates rhythm. So this connects actually to the shoulder blade at the back. And same here for the torso, like draw the top, make sure to draw a clear torso mass for yourself to start with. You can come over here, over the hips, connect the legs. And I think this would be a front to back actually. And then into the foot. And I can imagine that there is a lot of, let me zoom in a little bit. I can imagine that there is a lot of applied force on this shoulder, since she is like, this arm is pushing up against the shoulder. So you want to capture those moments in the figure and show it to us. These moments, these ideas are what really make your drawing interesting to look at. Those are important story points of the pose. Let's see, the same here. Like I can see that you saw like the reverse S curve of the torso. Just make it clearer, like be super clear with your ideas. You don't want to be ambiguous, you know. So draw a clear torso mass, and then you can connect the legs. This seems to be front to front, and then force flows into the heel, top of the foot, and out, shoots out from the toes. Same here with the shoulder, like find the connection, how force drives through the arm. This is like hanging. And draw the center line of the torso just to give us a bit of structure. And you want to observe how the neck and head connects also rhythmically to the body. You know, you don't want to lose the sense of fluidity when you get to the head and neck. So yeah, overall, this is a good start. I would say just connect more, you know, observe the forces and how they create rhythm and how everything is connected actually. You know, the figure works as one unit. You know, everything is connected and works as one. All right, that is a heel. Let's see, get rid of this. Who's keeping the time actually? Are you doing that, Diego?
Yeah, I'm tracking you. So relax. I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, one thing on Sahil's work, you might have said at the beginning that I missed, but I would say, you know, don't worry about light and shadow, right? Like you've got these patches of darkness, but they're not really doing anything for the drawing. And the rendering should come after good drawing skill. So, you know, it's just distracting, right? You just got these dark patches here and there. They're not really helping the drawing describe form. So I wouldn't even worry about it at all, at least not yet, you know?
Yeah, thanks for adding that. That's a good point indeed. I mean, like Mike said, first of all, I mean, one of the function of the light and shadow is to show the form, you know. So first of all, you need to understand the form.
Mhm.
Otherwise, there is nothing to shine the light on, actually. You know, you're just shining the light on some flat shapes and contours. And like Mike said, it doesn't add anything to your drawing. You can better spend that time analyzing and sculpting constructing the figure, you know. Okay, that was Sahil. Let's see, that is Priyanka. It seems that Priyanka is a fourth student, looking at the quality
Yes.
of the work.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, yeah, this is pretty good. It's pretty good, actually, lots of iteration. And I think we brought this up last week, but when you do iterations, like make sure that you don't just keep doing the same thing over and over again, because otherwise you might as well stop at one drawing, you know. The goal of the iteration is to assess your drawings and take notes of what can be improved, and then attempt to improve that in the next drawing. You know, so it's good again that you're doing iterations. Just make sure that you are evaluating your drawing. You are comparing your drawing to the figure and asking yourself, does my drawing work like the figure works? And if not, what do I need to change in order for that to be the case? And then you attempt to change that in the next drawing, and then you evaluate it again, and then you continue. So that's really the purpose of the iterations. Let's look at this one. Actually, this is the bigger one. Great line work, like good force lines, very fluid. I would say function-wise, like you went for an S curve for her torso, but her torso is not pushing out in that direction. It's really pushing in. No, it's pushing away from us actually in space. So you can see a stretch at this side. and this side is compressing, which gives us a C curve. It's not an S curve, it's a C. You have a clear stretch and compression at this side. So, and these are the kind of things that you want to explore in the different iterations. You know, even if you think it's an S curve, just try the C, you know, and maybe you discover, hey, the C curve does a better job at showing what the figure is doing. You know, because sometimes your first impression might not be the right one. So you want to explore different options and see what works best. And let's see, this leg is front to back. This is really what's going on. Then force is driving to the top of the foot, shooting out from the toes, and then you have the directional force of the heel. And because what's happening here is that you lost the fluidity, you know. Remember, like the directional forces connect to one another and they create rhythm, and this leads your eye from one place to the next. And this makes people get the sense of, hey, the figure is really fluid, you know, because the eye is led uninterrupted from one place of the body to the next. And here that gets lost, you know. It's just it's just doesn't work, you know. So here you want to come front to back, and we have a smooth transition from the upper leg into the lower leg. Let's see, other than that, this is pretty good. And I would say the other leg seems like outside, inside, outside to me, especially seeing like how much that inner knee is sticking out. And then it goes into the heel, top of the foot, shoots out from the toes. So overall, very good line work. Also, pretty good sense of balance overall. Just make sure that you're using your iterations effectively. So explore, compare, evaluate your drawing, compare it to the photograph, and take note of what you can change, what you can improve in order to make your drawing work like the figure in the reference works. Okay, that was Priyanka. And then we have Noah. Let's see, Noah is also on drawing force, I think.
Yep.
And he did the exercise of the blind contours, which is awesome. Good presentation also, great layout. Yeah, these look pretty good actually. You can see the gravity guide skating the page. This is half. And yeah, great work, very fluid line. I can see that you're like skating the figure and seeking those connections. So yeah, good job. Just make sure, of course, that the figure is balanced. I think in the last drawing, it works best. Like some of them feel like she's about to fall over. So definitely keep an eye on that. And you also submitted a study of a skull, which I think was pretty interesting. And I wonder if you did this, if you also like applied what you learned from the blind force drawing. It seems like that based on your line work.
Yeah, so Noah Swenley, Noah is in mentorship with me. We meet every 2 weeks. I told him to buy the skull. We haven't even talked about structure on the skull and doing the whole box and skull exercise. So what you're seeing is he took a shot at drawing the skull with us without us having conversation yet, which is cool. So you may
Okay.
want to just like draw a box for him over this and get a sense of like, hey, this is how it fits in a box and what it looks like, you know?
Okay, okay. Yeah, this is pretty good actually. It's a good start. And to Mike's point, like you want to keep track of.
Suddenly, I'm just gonna give you 2 more minutes.
Yeah, 2 more minutes.
Thank you, Diego. That's very generous of you.
You're welcome. Enjoy them.
Make good use of
Good
them.
Diego.
Let me zoom out a little bit. Like this would be the front of the box. And this will be the side plane. So yeah, you can see it's pretty good, and I think Mike is going to show you like how to get a better sense of structure in the skull.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's good, especially considering that like it's your first try at this without
Yeah.
Mike having taught you, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, good work, and I think my time is up.
If you're
Yeah.
over, I don't think you can get to another critique, but you have like 10 seconds.
It's too late
Nah,
already.
it's okay. You can do whatever you want, Charlie. You're the beast.
Little dance. You can tell us
5
how
more
lunch was
seconds.
today.
Just one more. This is the last one. This is from Marcus Jensen. Pretty good fluid line work. Let's see. Yeah, it's good. Just make sure that the forces are clear and they connect. Like here around the ankle, you know, start losing fluidity because you lost the connectivity of the forces. So this seems like it's front to front, and it comes into the heel, over the top of the foot, into the toes. So again, you want a clear connection between the directional forces to create rhythm and lead the eye. You know, this leads the eye. That this allows force to flow uninterrupted from one place of the body to the next, which is what we see in a real figure. That's why figures, our bodies feel fluid and energetic, you know. So yeah, I'm going to give it to the next guys. Thank you again for submitting. This was great. Let me stop the screen share.
I think Diego is next, right?
Yeah, it's me. Now you have to track my time.
Of course.
Okay, you gotta do it, Mike.
Our pleasure. Yeah.
We'll all keep an eye on you.
Keep a tight
Okay.
eye. Yeah.
Watch me. Watch me eat time. Okay, so let's see what I have. Let's don't waste time. And okay, this was something we begun the stream, the last stream, and you actually have to complete kind of my drawing there, thinking about shape and creating shapes that are forceful. So this is Navid CMS. I hope that's your name or it's something that you goes by. So you said here fast try and a slow try. And something funny happened. In your fast try, you created here a curve straight, a curve kind of straight, and a little curve. Also, you create this long one and this a little bit shorter. But when you went to the slow try, you start making these things like this, that you start creating symmetrical shapes, which are the things we try to avoid because they stop what Swanley was just talking about, that is rhythm. Because you're coming from here and then you need to change the direction of that force to create rhythm. And if you go like this and like, oh, I have part of the UI there. Like this, they start colliding here, and the force stops. So in this drawing, you kind of make like you fall into all of the traps, right here again. Here's a little less, but almost you fall to the trap. Here you change the direction of this force. You went from here, when actually this leg, what it's doing is kind of like that. Okay, so I would suggest you, and that this is funny because we said do quick drawings. Just take your time in a 1 minute or 2 minute pose, but try not to do a slow drawing, but adding details like anatomy details. Maybe you try to one here for his biceps, and you start making these mistakes that kills your drawing. Actually, if you look at your fast try, it feels more fluid than the slow try. In the slow try, you fall in a lot of traps, David. So be aware of that. And actually, one thing I'm just noticing, look at the hand. You create something like this with the hand, which is kind of nice because it's showing some direction of the hand. Instead here, you create like a sock for the hand, and it's not showing any action, any function of that hand. So be aware of that and try not to go too deep into things that you are learning, right? Like you give here a big belly. It's like he drank a lot of beer and got a big belly. And those things are because maybe you don't know where to go. After a minute span, you spend 2 minutes. And then what should I do? You start shading here, creating some light and shadow, as Mike says before. Be aware of that, because if you don't add the shadows in the right position to create depth, then you just adding noise. Because shadow will help us. Everything we add to any drawing is for us to be more clear of what we want to say. So if you just add like shadow here, let's add a shadow just to say this drawing has light and shadow, but it doesn't do anything, then it's not worth it. It's just noise. Okay, so if you want to add shadow, be aware of where that shadow should be and go with the volume of the thing you're putting on the shadow, right? To create that depth and that volume in the volume. Volume in the volume. Okay, so these are my 2 cents to this work you did. So try to work fast, but wisely. Okay, if you run out of time and you need more time to understand if this leg goes like this or go to the other side, take your time. That you're not running against anything. But if you just run out of things to do, then don't keep working on the same drawing, because you start to add things that make the drawing not work. Okay, so these are my 2 cents for you. Let's go with the next drawing, that is this one. Okay, here what I would say, I always said tools are not what makes our drawings, but in this case, your paper, it looks like it has a lot of texture on it, and it's creating that brrr in the line. Okay, that is going against the fluidity of the drawing. I really like that you went here and you went this way. You connect here. Try to feel like what the body's doing. Okay, once you get that, you can start to add like the cloth on top of it, drapery and all the stuff. But first, try to go with what the body's doing, right? You can do this, add the head to whatever place she's looking at. You got this leg here, go in and go this way. Same thing here. Think about where the rear end is looking at. The rear end is looking at.
Yeah, good looking rear end. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Some people have eyes there. I don't know why.
That's
Okay,
yeah,
so
Teachers have eyes in the back of their head, right? So
Look at this, for example. I don't have the reference you're using, so I don't know about this. I'm sure. Look, the length of this arm and the length of this forearm. That's not human, and I think you know that. And that is because you're not using like these negative shapes. That if you look at these negative shapes in your reference, you'll notice that this is smaller or is different, okay? Because this forearm is way too long, okay? You start closing shapes. Some are good, some are kind of playing against you. But first, once again, be aware of function and like these angles, how they work from here to here. Where's the direction of each volume right here? She's coming this way, this coming this way. Okay, the neck is going in the other direction. Keep understanding that before jumping into like anatomy. One more thing about anatomy: these lines you put here. I know you were trying to add like scapula, but if you're trying to add the scapula, try to do it in the way. Try to think how the scapula works, right? Just to get like the basic shape of the scapula. Think about a triangle, for example. Okay, just a line like that. It doesn't say anything. It's like we were talking before about light and shadow. If you add something, make it worth it. Okay, what am I adding this for? Okay, what's your line here? This line, what is telling me? It's not telling me anything. It's like she's raising his arm, so the scapula should be moving. Where should it go? How can this line help me? Help me that I'm drawing, or help me that I'm watching your drawing, okay? So what it describes. So be aware of that, okay? So these are my 2 cents for your drawing.
you have about 4
be careful
to
with
6 minutes left, by the way.
6 minutes, okay?
Around
So
4 to 6 minutes, somewhere in there.
46 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. 46
Okay.
minutes left.
So let's go with this one. I really love these drawings. These are pretty nice. They had a lot of movement and everything. One thing, Sueli should be talking about this, but when you're drawing with character design, that I feel that this is what you're doing, try to keep the character the same in every drawing. This character is changing in each iteration you're doing. For example, here is a really skinny girl, and if you watch here, this is not the same person as this one. It's not the same character. So pay attention to that thing. Another thing I'm paying a lot of attention here today in this time is clothes. Because we are planning something. But here, for example, look at this and look at this. It kind of, that leg is broken, and it's just because of angles. Try to keep it that the clothing does not break the function of the body. Once again, here you can see, look how this is falling, right? And look here. Does she change the trousers, or she's keeping the same one? Why that happened? Okay, so be aware of those things when you are creating characters and you moving characters around to keep consistent of the clothing and the type of body she is, type of person, the expressions. Keep that in mind, okay? By the way, this leg should go like this. Okay, you can go back if you want here, but this go this way. Okay, it never do that. Okay, this would never happen. Okay, so yeah, that's my 2 cents. This is a really nice drawing. Just be aware of those things to keep consistency, to keep the character likeness in every drawing. I know maybe these are sketches. You can try adding here for the sake of volume. If you're drawing black and white, just a little bit of lines here just to create like volume and don't lose the whole pelvis volume there. But all in all, these are great. Okay. Thank you, Archie, for sending these drawings. So the last one, because I don't have much time, is this one. This is from Claudia. I'm moving our video there so I can see better. So she took one of Swanley's drawing. This is Swanley's drawing. And where is this? Oh, what happened with the color? Oh, there we go. I was on white. Here we go. Okay, so this is Swanley's drawing, and you kind of copy it or trying to understand what's happening there. But if you take a little look deeper, you'll see that you decrease the amount of extreme perspective Swanley put in here. Watch her foot there. He's the one you drew. And look at Swanley's head. This is Swanley's head, this size. I look at the size Swanley's draw the girl's head. And look at yours. In that little thing, you change a lot of what Swanley was trying to say in his drawing. So don't lose that. The same thing happened when we are drawing figures in a live drawing situation. We try to water down every time to water down what's doing. Try to push it. It's better to go way too much than water down what's really doing. Okay, so that's that. And here. This is really important to me. I love structure and I love the drawings to keep the structure and the volumes, the direction they are going. So the best thing here is you're trying to go like wrapping lines or surface line over the drawing, but try to put them in the direction the things are going. For example, this arm, her right arm, is going in. It's going this way, right? It's going that way. So if you put your lines this way, you're making the arm coming instead of going away, right? So you're changing the pose. You're totally changing the pose. So be aware of that because that changed everything. I know they're just lines, but those surface lines are what give us our eyes like the information we need to decipher where that volume is going. So be much aware of those things. And here, I would like you to think this. We don't work with cylinders or anything else, but if you think of a cylinder here, look where those lines are, right? And you're doing like this. So you're telling me this leg is going kind of that way, that volume. So those are confusing. So when you use wrapping lines, okay, try to keep them 90 degrees to the direction of the volume. That will make it more information, give us more information about the direction of the volume. If you're using surface line, which is kind of the same of wrapping lines, but in the direction of the force, which in this case, you're coming here, but you need to go fast to the top of the leg, right? So you should be creating something like this, okay? And keep going until you get to the direction of the force, okay? So be aware of that. And last but not least, I want to talk about this drawing that is from Imagination. People trying to think, I'm going to just let me finish this and I leave you to it. People think that using reference is cheating or something. I just look on Google for a reference of kind of the same action. Take a look how much you lose by trying to create it from imagination. Look at the amount of effort that guy is about to kick that ball. And the balance, the position of the legs, the amount of force, no pun intended, created on his right leg. It's about to kick the ball, and look at your drawing from imagination. It's great to work from imagination, but using reference will help you to create the drawings from your imagination way better. Okay, and as you're working from your imagination, try not to do this. This is a tangent here is created by the arm. So you are creating the pose. You can easily move his arm away. Okay, so you don't create this kind of things. Okay, so use reference. It's not wrong to use reference. If you want to create from your imagination, study reference of that topic until you understand how the body works and how you can create the most dynamic pose out of that specific theme. Okay, so that's
you have
all.
5 more minutes, Diego. You've only used 40 so far.
I only use 10, or I have 40. Okay. Well, okay. So that's all. Let's go with the next one. So sorry for extending, but I really want to get there.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's see. I think I'm up. Let's do screen share. Okay. I wrote in the chat, I'm going to try to do a little bit of draw along here with you guys, if we can. Let's see. This is Srika, right? So Srika, let's first of all, thank you for sending in doing the blind process, right? That's really awesome, since that's something that we talked about in the last 3 weeks. My main note here for you would be when you're drawing without looking, what you want to do is try to keep the pencil on the paper longer. Instead of blind force looking something like, here's the shoulder and here's the arm, and then I think the arm is over here as you did in your drawing. Excuse me. Allow the pencil to stay on the page longer and try and see if you can find the fluidity through these moments. When I'm drawing, although you may see certain marks showing up at certain times, I'm almost always touching the page or just barely touching. I'm almost always in contact with it. It's just about if I'm going to really start pushing down on the graphite or not. For the skating, that's really good too, because as you're holding contact, it helps you recognize a little bit more like where you are on the piece of paper relative to looking at the subject, right? And most importantly, what we're trying to get out of the blind skating exercise is connectivity, right? You're creating this railroad system or a road system, or almost what I call like these spaghetti-like figures in the beginning, to flow through the entire body. So it's okay if it gets, over spaghetti-ish or over fluid. In fact, I'd prefer that before you go to the step of drawing directional and applied forces, right? So as an example, and I told you guys you could maybe try doing this with me. If we did let's try doing a blind one here together, right? So I'm going to cheat a little bit because I can see, but for those of you that are watching right now, you can try doing this blind and see if you can just flow around, right? So I'm just going to look at the model here. And I see all this movement, and I'm actually staying on the screen. So lines sometimes might show up or might not show up, but as I'm doing this, I just want you guys to see I'm actually touching the screen. You can see barely anything showing up, right? So I'm doing this, and then like, man, it's like really pushing hard in there, and his arm's coming down, and it's going to the wrist and into the hand. Now I'm drawing blindly, so I got to travel back up. I got to reverse my way up here and see if I can get it in there, get it into the right place. Right, it's like, there's his pelvis and his leg and his knee, and I'm just going to keep my drawing utensil on the screen and just try to keep going. Right, here's the other knee, and it goes back to the ankle and the foot. Just let yourself flow. It's all right if you make a mess of things. I just want you to get a sense at this stage of what the whole thing looks like. Right, I just looked. I'm going to just get the neck and head down. So here's the chin and the face. Right, here's his ear. He's got his hair over here. Right. So there's my blind skating, right? I want you to see how fluid and connected it all gets, right? Hopefully those of you at home, like I said, got the chance to draw this with me a little bit. You know, take a look at your blind drawing. It's okay if the proportions are off or things aren't in the right place. This is more about an experience of trying to flow from one place to another. Right, and you can see over here, you're just breaking up the pieces a little bit too much at that phase, right? And then we have looking when required, right? So looking when required, what should happen is the skating should just get more accurate, right? All of a sudden, those connections should start attaching themselves to one another more often, right? Again, I would say my main advice to you, Srika, is try to flow more, try to connect more. What it does also, by the way, everyone, is the side effect of this is that you don't end up with lines that just kind of float, right? If we look at these lines, we don't want lines that I can kind of go in there with like the lasso tool or a pair of scissors, right? And take and separate that out. And like, I can take that and separate it out. It shouldn't be like, here's this and here's this. You know, you want to really try to connect this stuff at this stage, right? You really want to be able to connect it. There'll come a stage where maybe you can do that and say, well, here's the shoulder and like, I see the arm, right? But the reason you get to this stage is because you've gone through stage one, right? Let's call this S1, right? And this is S2. And that's because I've felt this experience before myself. I've flowed through the body in that particular way already all on my own. So I understand how this is very specifically directing itself into this part of the body. So for all of you, this blind skating, I think, is really essential to making sure that the whole body stays connected, right? And then, you know, you graduate basically over to, let me take those directional and applied forces and I can kind of chop them down into one another and make sure they're still fluid and working appropriately. But let's get through, you know, spaghetti bodies first, right? I want to actually see that, you know, we want to see this first, right? That means you're thinking more holistically. This is, by the way, the key, folks. If there's any secret to what we teach here, like this is it. The secret is, do I understand the whole body? Right? In German, it's called Gestalt, right? It's like I want to understand the whole thing from top to bottom, not like little piece by little piece by little piece. Okay. And it's admittedly challenging, you know, because our brain doesn't think like that. Imagine now you're trying to look at the body and understand the whole thing versus all these little components, right? That's the nut to crack right at the beginning of all this. All right, thank you, Srika. This is Tanay. All right. So let's see, let's maybe try to do some drawing again here, right? In general, before I get started with drawing, Tanay, pretty good, a little bit more like continuity here, right? We could see the movement and the fluidity in the drawings. Let's see if I have anything specific I want to really say here. I know you're doing your job here of making the rib cage this sort of egg-like thing. Personally, I'm not really into that. It causes a lot of problems. It ends up making us think that the torso over here is symmetrical, and we want to really push for the asymmetry of this to this. So I try not to egg things out like that. Also, you're like pushing up into the upper body here, and through that concept, you're starting to water down, I think, the importance of the angle here, right? The angle across the shoulders. You know, instead we have this big hump kind of over here, and it sort of minimizes this. And I really want to see that. I think that's really, really important. In reality, sure, that rib cage is like that, but I think you're just a little too high. You know, the rib cage is a little bit lower. It's like this, and it's kind of almost like a shirt or a collar like you have there, but it doesn't go that low, right? Because we got to get to the clavicle or the collarbone as well. You are flowing here. I think my biggest suggestion to you, the more I look at this, is more soft touch, right? And what that means is start lighter. Today I'm drawing, by the way, with like just a generic Photoshop brush. I would suggest, so it's not even the force brush, nothing fancy here, right? I'm at 10%. I would say come in there and draw with 10%, right? You see, and that gives me room to like move around and flow and make mistakes because because that's what's going to happen, right? That's how I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn by doing that, right? So let's try to do a quick drawing together here for those of you that are drawing. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go for the C torso first, right? I'm going to come up into the shoulder and down into the other one, right? And I'm just gonna, it's okay if your line's not perfect at this stage, right? And you're just starting out, like just get yourself moving, right? Just draw, and you're still drawing with the force line, but I'm not worried about the perfection of it. I'm not doing a cleanup drawing, right? Just want to understand how this stuff works, right? This leg's coming out towards me. We got this one's going outside, inside, outside, and off the page over there. We've got the arm over here, which is hanging, going to the wrist, right? And I want to draw that fluidity. It's almost like the skating, right? But I'm looking, but I'm still skating, right? Even though I'm doing that, right? So we're like this. We got our neck and our head, right? The bottom of her jaw. I'm being really rough here. I just want to get the sense of motion of how the whole thing works. Later, if I wanted to, right, I can go in here and I can stay with the 10 and keep sharpening it up, or I can make this darker and then get myself into a place of, let me really like clarify my choices, right? And make these lines all beautiful and smooth and so on, right? But it's that rough phase, honestly, folks, it's really important, and that's where all the learning happens, okay? Right, it's you giving yourself the room to think and feel and, understand what you're drawing instead of feeling like it's got to be, it's got to be correct at the start. That's probably one of the biggest mistakes I see students make over and over and over again when it comes to learning how to draw, right? Is not giving yourself room to learn, right? Just literally not giving yourself room to learn, okay? How are we doing on time? All right, I'll finish this up. We got one more person. So Tanae, my biggest suggestion, my main one would be come in lightly, longer, right? Give yourself time to think. Don't get dark too fast. Same thing is happening here, right? And stay fluid. Try not to get too choppy. Lengthen the line. That blind force exercise is really great for that. Last but not least, we have Valerie here. Valerie, I like how much you're working. Here there's a lot of work happening underneath. It's pretty good. I think the best suggestion I can give you is don't overdraw at the beginning. Don't worry too much about the forms and the shapes. Everyone wants to make like a good drawing, right? And I want all of you who are at the beginnings of learning how to draw with force to understand, it takes time to get there. Trust, right? Trust us, trust the process. Stay long and fluid, at the beginning. Try to find the different forces. This is C torso again, right? And just go with the longer lines, right? Here, let me lighten the brush, right, to show you what I was doing before, right? Lighten the lines, feel the stuff out. It's okay if you're rough, right, and flow around, and just try to understand how everything is connected, right? It's the best, like I said, it's the best advice I can give any of you out there right now as to how to learn how to draw with force. Blind skating, draw with soft touch, give yourself room to think, right? And then build up into darkness, which is like saying, I'm not sure, I'm working on it. Oh yeah, here it is, it's right. I found the answer, right? And it's exciting to be in that time of discovery and searching. It's like a lump of clay on a table and you're like molding it, big picture ideas first, and then you're finally getting to like the accuracy of it all, right? Okay, thank you guys. I hope some of you had the chance to follow along a little bit with what I was doing. I believe that's Mrityunjay is last, right? All right, I'm going to hand it over. All right, so thank you, everyone. And it's all yours, Mrityunjay.
Yeah, so welcome, guys. So let me share my screen. So hope you can see it.
Yep.
Yeah, so let's go. So the first artist for my section would be Santiago. So Santiago sent this blind, and he's got this weird idea, looking at 3 times and looking multiple times. So, but that's not really important, Santiago, I would suggest that it's not that important, how much time you look, like when you're doing 50-50. So it just does matter that you only see to the page, when you really require it. Okay. So let's see. So you send in the blind drawing, but again, as was Mike was saying to one of the artists that, I can like almost take a lasso tool and like cut this arm out, and this arm out, like everybody like out that area, right? So you just have to try that you don't do that. So let me do like a quick follow along again, like for you guys who've been drawing. So let's see. Yeah, this one. Oh, the layers are always confusing. Anyways, let me shrink that up. Let me take it. So yeah, so when you're like drawing blindly, okay, you just want to make sure that you're always like immerse your like self into the experience. Okay, so first of all, do the blind skating, that we suggested. And if you haven't seen the video of the blind drawing, so definitely watch that out, right? So yeah, just look at me like when I'm like drawing this over. I'm drawing blindly right now. And if you see like this figure is let me do that. Yeah, this figure is actually an S torso. Okay, so you want to watch out that for as well, right? Let me, yeah, let me do that. Yeah, so I'm like drawing blindly right now. I'm just like feeling that out, the watching the forces, and I'm like trying to like stay to the reality like most of the time. Okay. So yes, you can see like the one of the important thing is like my every mark is like counting, right? Is actually giving that something to that drawing, right? So something like this, and like this maybe, and then you want to watch out like for the forces, right? If they are like working correctly or not. So yeah, just be aware of that, like that connection that is happening here. So I'm like maybe like turn this drawing into 50-50 right now. So I'm just like looking at there, right? And yeah, just like try to be as near to the reality as possible, when you're like drawing blindly. Okay, and we don't like want this like just like some lines in there. Try to put some time in there. Okay, so that would be really great. Don't just like make some forceful lines and just leave like that. I know it's like tough, not to look at the paper. Your mind is constantly telling you that, yeah, just look at the paper again and again. So that was tough. Give some time to that drawing. When you're drawing blindly, just relax, and do the skating exercise, blind skating exercise, and then just like jump into here. Okay? So yeah, you can see like the marks, like every marks in here that actually like count something. So for example, let me switch to red here. So you can see like this area is like giving me the sense that yeah, that belly is there, and like this mark is actually like coming like to the abdomen area, something like that. So yeah, just make every mark count, right? Okay, let's see. Thank you for submitting. Let me see, like, who's this? Yeah, it's Saya. So welcome, Saya. Thanks for submitting in. So I have to say, like, really, really clean presentation, and you seem like you are on the site as well. Okay, so the result here. And one thing I also like about your work is that you are experimenting constantly with every iteration here. Okay, so let's see here. So let's see here, you are in the first one, you're like trying that S, like that reverse S, actually that what the function is all about in that pose. And in second, like you're trying to experiment, right? So you're trying the opposite of C, right? So yeah, that's pretty great. You have to like experiment and constantly find out that if you're like purposely do it wrong. So if you know the right thing, that yeah, it's okay, it works, but why wrong is wrong. Okay, so you need to do that. So yeah, good job on that. I would say, let me see. Yeah, you're like doing pretty great with this, but since you like done this with the torso as well, so I'm just like have to give you some critiques on that. I would say it's not like this. It's almost like this in this pose itself. We're not like looking too much down at the pose itself. So it's not like that high that you like did in here and like every iteration in there. Okay, I like the blind one. Yeah, it's like I can see like how much ideaful you are when you're like drawing blind. So that's good. Another Let's see. Yeah, great job on that. I don't have like much to say here. Yeah, one more thing. When you're like doing this thing, when you're like making the pelvis, okay. So, or you're also making structure of it. So really like try to enhance that structure out, right? So you can see like it's doing this, like this crotch area that's always upside down triangle, okay, in a 3D space. And yeah, watch for like Diego's Instagram. He posts a lot of notes on this one. It's like, yeah, so watch out for that, when you bring that so for example, you see here, okay, so that just like flattens that out, right? So watch out for that as well. Yeah, so yeah, great job. Let's see, Sobia. So welcome, Sobia. So this is from her imagination. So I have to like first of all say that, yeah, great job on Sobia, great job, Sobia, for taking the like dare to make this out of imagination, right? And I love your confidence. And this is the thing, people that on the site and who are even not on site, when you're like starting with the force, force is like experience, okay, that you get out of your drawing, okay. So for example, like you're in the drawing session and your one model is doing like what he's doing, like he's posing. So what you need to do is like appreciate his efforts and like have empathy with the model, that how much like he's giving you, like, okay. So that is thing, and it's like experiencing like his efforts that he's giving us, okay. So you want to get that, and yeah, great job on this. Let me do a quick draw over here. Okay. Let's see. So the one thing that you have to be careful of is, of course, your lines are really good, but you have to like combine the power of function into it, okay? And that what makes it a forceful drawing. Forceful drawing is not just like making lines, like, okay? So it's like the efficiency of form, I mean function, and like form and the grace of the human body like combined, right? So let's see, what have you got here? So you got a C torso here, right? So C torso. Yeah, so you got a C torso, but you see like you miss the function of it. So if this torso is in C template, it's always like contrapostrophe. Okay, and by that I mean like one side is a stretch and other side is like a compression. Okay, so you can see like his back is stretching, so obviously his abdomen is gonna be squashed, right? So yeah, you will see a silhouette. What do you see, like creases in there, right? Creases in the skin, and that is like what I feel missing in your drawing here. And you can see like a really simple shape, but it's really clear. Okay, the one in yours is not that clear. So yeah, like this one, and you can see like his neck is like just like falling off. So it's almost like I can cut that line and it will like fall over. Okay, so try to like clinch everything together, seeing the body as a whole. So again, it will just combine with the function. So here from the back, the force is gonna come and into the neck, right? So something like this would happen here, right? Something like this. Maybe he's like looking here more, right? That would give it more dynamism. Since this is a drawing from imagination, we can like manipulate it as much as we can, but we have to like stay into the function itself. Okay? And I've read your notes here, by the way. That's really great. If you have to like, yeah, you say that the arms are logged, right? So in the log arms, you need to follow this template here, right? See here. So the force is coming out from back into the deltoid, okay? And here it is. So that's like the normal arm template. But since like the arm is locked, so the force is gonna like travel from the tricep side, like to the brachioradialis side, okay? And then it's like again come over to the back, okay? So this like will be the template like for the locked arm, okay? I would say it's what do we call this? Yeah, I just forget the name. So anyways, so that would be a logged arm there, right? And let's see what you got with the legs here. So yeah, you can see like, yeah, you're like flowing really aggressively, but my recommendation to you would be stay a little bit, focus on the function also a little bit, and still pulling off this like type of speed and experience at the same time, you know. So that would just give you like the forceful drawing, right? So something like this here, and yeah. So now you can see like how clear this drawing is, right? Yeah.
We got about
So
1 or 2 more minutes, Mrityunjay.
okay. So let's see. Yeah, this one. Let's take this one.
Watch the nudity on that one.
Oh, yeah. Let me hide that one. Yeah. Let me grab another one then. Yeah, let's take this one. So yes, this is all from imagination again. So great job on that. Here seems like you're drawing like too much on the imagination things, right? But again, like stay focused on the function. You can see like his leg is like almost like to the 90 degree of like what his torso is. So his torso is like this, and his leg is like this, which would be like his reaction would be like, ah, like what is this, you know? Like somebody's like breaking his leg off. Okay, so yeah, just have some empathy over the figures, you know what you're doing. uh, don't like torture them or break them, you know, something like this. Stay away from function, you know, I'm just like joking. Okay, so these are really great and I love them, you know. But yeah, just like stay aware of the function a little bit, right? So you can see like his thigh, I'm like drawing his thigh right now, that's like being overlapped. Watch out for those things as well, that they are like properly overlapped here as well. Okay, something like this would happen here. This is again like the crotch upside down triangle. Let me shorten that up. Yeah. So something like this, because it's like really like short and like everything's like shortened up. Right? And there's like the foot in there, maybe. Yeah. Since it's like again from imagination, we can like manipulate it kind of. And for this straight leg, you know, I would say it would be a little bit of angular. I know like some people can do that, you know, those are like doing athletics and like gymnastics and all this kind of things. But you know, when I like drawing from imagination, that would be a little better if you just mention that thing, that yeah, trying to make a gymnastic or some gymnastic person or something, or maybe just like, try to watch out for, you know, some subtleties. Okay? So yeah, great job on that, and just stay to the function, right? So, yeah.
Is that me on the second drawing? Is that me? The second drawing.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
I think you're right. Looks like you shaped your beard a little bit.
Yeah, so let me stop share, and thank you, everyone.
All right. Let's head over to Photoshop again. So thank you, Mrityunjay. Thank you, guys. So in closing today, again, first of all, I know we didn't get to 150, that's fine, but we did last week. So we want to announce our winner today is, how about Diego, can you give us a drum roll with that double R thing that you were doing? The winner is Beatrice Rivera, right? So congratulations, Beatrice. And I know Beatrice is here actually, because she's had quite some conversations with me about Italy today. So Diego, do you want to share again what the prize is?
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna get killed by me in a 10 minutes video. Okay, contact me via Instagram so we can arrange how you send me your work, and we talk there and we fix everything. Okay, so congratulations on winning this. And I hope every single stream we get to 150. We have a lot of new rewards for you. Okay, so keep it up.
Yeah. So congrats, Beatrice. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today to go over the critiques. We have some really, really exciting new topics coming up over the next 3 weeks. I also want to remind everyone that next Saturday, I think it's August 8th at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, will be the premiere for the Gary Villarreal interview, right? It's going to be awesome. I promise you, you're going to love it. Just really great conversation. And at the end, he does a demonstration. His Instagram account is Via Arte. Here, I'm going to go back to Photoshop. I'll type it in really quick for you guys. Screen. let me give you, it's like this. I'm gonna handwrite it here. So go
Look,
to,
Beatrice, your name is on the screen again.
it's Via Arte, right? So this is Gary. He's amazing artist, lots of force, form, and shape design in his work, extremely creative and imaginative. Promise you, you're gonna love it. So I'll remind you again next Friday for the next Friday event, but try to get yourself the notification set up for that so you don't miss it. And that's it, right? We will see you guys. We'll see you guys next Friday, right? So thank you guys. Thank you, Diego, Swenley, and Matunjay again. And have a great weekend. Stay safe, of course, with the wonderful pandemic that we're all in. And we'll see you next Friday. Take care.
See you
Bye.
guys.
Bye bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye-bye.